Today, I'm headed up to one of the best gyms I've ever been in. It's called Gainesville Health and Fitness up in Gainesville, Florida. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive for me, but it's absolutely worth the drive. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour of Gainesville Health and Fitness and show you what makes this gym just so epic. And what makes this gym so epic is all the high-intensity training Nautilus history behind it. This gym has some of the best equipment in the world, and many pieces you've probably never seen and you probably never will see. So let's get out on the road and get up to Gainesville, Florida, so we can go in the most epic gym you'll probably ever see. The thing you guys got to realize about Florida is that it's actually worth parking farther to get a spot in the shade. It's only going to be about 92 degrees today. As you can see, there is dozens and dozens of MedX pieces of equipment here on the back. You can see some X-Force. But to my knowledge, this is the only gym in this country that has full MedX lineup here. Guys, this is a really rare piece of equipment. It's called the Nautilus Multi, or I believe it's multi-exercise machine. What this allows you to do is weighted chin-ups, weighted dips, but also allows you to do negative weighted chin-ups and weighted dips. I'd have to try this one out today for sure.
Alright, today we're going to start off on the MedX Chest Press. Now, what makes MedX so much better than everything else? Well, first of all, it's pretty much frictionless. So with a lot of machines, you have a lot of friction in between these guide wires. The difference between MedX is actually a mechanism beneath that actually pushes the weight stack up rather than using steel cables or Kevlar belts to pull the weight stack up. So this tremendously reduces friction. These machines are also virtually biomechanically perfect. But the thing about these machines is, unless you knew what you were doing, a lot of people couldn't just hop in one and set one up. So as you can see here, look how far back the handles are. These machines are designed for you to gap the weight stack, which means you're going to put your handles in the starting position and then select your weight. So this is how you do that. I get behind it and I push it with my back, select the weight, and now you've got a weight gap stack here. And then you've got your desired starting position. Alright, let's give it a try. trained to failure on a MedX piece is so above and beyond what any of the equipment feels like. You know, just a single set on the chest press performed to failure, your chest is going to feel completely cooked. And it's because these machines are made with such precision. Biomechanics, you know, like I said, the lack of friction, they're borderline perfect. And unfortunately, it's not something you're going to see in a commercial gym. You're going to see more in personal training studios. It's because they do need to be treated carefully. You know, if you bend a guide rod on one of these, it's going to cost thousands to repair. So that's why I'm actually surprised a place like Gainesville Health and Fitness has them accessible to the public. But there is always one or two people walking around helping people set up the machines, because they're not straightforward like your typical machine. If you've never used one, you need someone to show you how to use it. So that's good. There's a lady behind me actually taking people through high-intensity training workouts like circuit. She's also around helping people set up the machines, which is great. And you would actually need that if you were to stock these in a commercial gym. First, people are just gonna fuck them up. So this is called X-Force, and essentially what it does is it adds about 40% more resistance on the negative phase by tilting and manipulating the weight stack. So there's a very particular way to use this pull down. As you can see, there's a whole line of them. You actually have to pause in the contracted position and the extended position to allow this weight stack to change position and add resistance. Alright, I'll show you how that works. So as you can see, as I pull down, we have a little less resistance. And when I pause in the contracted position, that weight stack tilts and it gets about 40% more heavier. And then I pause again, and then I come down for the pause. And that's how you use this stuff. Tilt, tilt. Didn't like my range of motion. X-Force is crazy. The amount that added resistance at the bottom is insane. I was doing 200 pounds, and by the time you get to about rep 5, you are fighting that negative. You are fighting that negative hard. Whew. Definitely a different experience. Is X-Force any better than a machine that doesn't add a resistance on the negative? Probably not. But I think for individuals who have a hard time reaching a high level of intensity, I think they can be really, really useful.
So this is one of my favorite MedX machines. It's the Triceps Extension machine. And what makes this thing so good is that you are completely stabilized. It's got shoulder pads to counter reaction force. You know, as you push down, your body's going to want to go up. And then the biomechanics and the resistance curve is basically perfect. I remember the first time I trained on one of these. I trained my triceps to a degree that I could not replicate with any other exercise. That's what makes this one of my favorite machines.
So the thing that's so great about this triceps machine is that you're so braced, it has you so secure. The shoulder pads and just the whole design of the machine, that you could just contract your triceps harder than a push down, harder than skull crusher. You know, these little things, you know, to most people they don't really make a difference. But if you know what you're looking at, if you know the biomechanics of training, if you know the objective of training all these little things come together to make the workout way more productive. If you've ever used like traditional gym equipment and then you came and you used some of this MedX stuff, you're going to see a significant difference. It is significantly different. And in my opinion, most people probably get better results on them. They allow you to generally contract your muscles harder and get more out of each set. So that's why I've used them in my studios. That's why a lot of people do. And I'm like 5 or 6 exercises in and everything's fried. It's an outdoor pavilion gym, and if I remember correctly, there are a lot of fans and stuff. Looks like they got a class going on here. But as you can see, really cool concept. What is this? An enormous fan, air conditioner. Sweet. But really cool concept. Obviously, you're probably going to keep equipment out here because with the humidity, weather, they'll probably rust, but really cool gym. Alright, so there you have it, guys. Gainesville Health and Fitness. If for some reason you're ever in the area, you're a fitness gym enthusiast like I am, come get a day pass, try this place out. You can spend a couple hours here just trying out the equipment, and you'll be able to train on some of the best equipment you'll probably ever train on and get a workout that you very likely will not be able to replace with all that traditional matrix like fitness junk you probably got at your Planet Fitness. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Now I'm gonna go get a cheeseburger.